see right now but that we have some people with us online. So just a note to those of you who are joining us online this evening that we've had some internet issues today. So we are online right now, but if we cease to be online at some point, that's the reason. We're doing our best here. So I hope that you'll forgive us if we drop for some reason, but that is what's happening here right now. But we are here. I can see us. So there we are. We are online. All right. So Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for being with us, whether you're here in the sanctuary or whether you're joining us online. And we're going to begin. Cantor Paul is at camp. There's no shul band tonight because he's away. It wasn't in the Kehillah. It said no shul band, but I noticed in the Tekiah it didn't say shul band, but it didn't say no shul band. It usually says it when we're having it, but it should have said no, but it didn't. So that's our fault, I guess. But it's good to be with you. He is coming back on Sunday, and I am leaving on Monday to go to camp. So next Shabbat, Cantor Paul will be with us here, and I will be out for the next two Shabbatot. So we're going to begin our service on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boechem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzeitchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're going to turn to page 2 for our kindling of our Shabbat lights. I'd like to invite Carrie and Yael to help us to kindle our lights, and invite everybody in the congregation who's comfortably able to do so to please rise.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Be seated. We turn to pages 20 and 21. We take a moment for a review of the week, for Hazarat HaShavua. Take a deep breath. Go back to Monday, to last Shabbat, Sunday, and Monday. Spend a moment on each day, and then we'll come back together and join in Lachadodi. A few moments of silence. Pages 20 and 21, we'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to verse 9, we'll rise and face the doors from which we entered and welcome the Shabbat presence and the Neshama Yetera, the extra soulfulness that travels with us during Shabbat into our congregation and into our hearts. For those of you at home, you can turn toward the doors of your homes and welcome that Shabbat presence into your home. Lecha Dodi. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabla. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabla. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Yishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litchila la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Hit oreri, kiva orech kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvtzola, toch emunei ham segula, boi chala, la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabla. We're going to continue in just a moment with Chatzi Kaddish, which is on page 26, and you can stay standing, but those of you who are out, you're welcome to come in now if you'd like. Welcome. We continue on page 26. Yitgada Shemei Rabbah, Bialma Divrach Hirute V'Amlich Malchute, B'chayechon Uv'yom Echon, Uv'chaye Decho Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Uv'izman Kariv, V'yimeru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam Ulomei Almaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudesha, B'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma, v'yimeru, Amen. Baruch Hu, our call to prayer, page 28. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach leolam vaed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach leolam vaed. Last three lines in the Hebrew on page 30. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam vaed, baruch ata Adonai, hamariv, aravim. You may be seated for a moment. Just a short iyun, a short reflection on this piece of the Siddur. After Baruch Hu in every service, we have a prayer for creation. In the morning service, it's Yotzer, it's a prayer about light, right? And the evening service, it's Ma'ariv Aravim, which I just chanted the end of. And Ma'ariv Aravim is about mixing, really. Ma'ariv, even the word we have for evening, comes from, or Erev, like we should say, Erev Tov, good evening, or Erev Shabbat, the evening of Shabbat. The word Erev comes from this idea of mixing. It's a mix of light and darkness, right? That comes together, right? Some of you may have heard the word Eruv before, right? It's often a wall, a fence, or even a string around a traditional Jewish neighborhood that allows people to carry on Shabbat. What does an Eruv do? It mixes the public space and the private space, right, to allow somebody to carry. So we have this light in the evening. We think about how that, in a sense, this time of mixture is a miraculous time, right? We see it in the morning too at dawn, and the evening, this liminal time. We seem to be often more open, right, to the world around us, to encounters with the holy. People taking a walk at sunset or at sunrise, being outside, right? Those are special moments. And then there's always a prayer that follows that has in the title it has the word love, right? In the morning it's Ahava Rabbah, great love, and in the evening it's Ahavat Olam, eternal love. And those are both good. Great love and eternal love are both really good things. But this is really about God's love for us, for the Jewish people. And there are also prayers about Torah, right? Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu. We will rejoice, and it's talking about your laws and commandments, we will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them. We have this, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Right? So God shows love for us according to our tradition, and this is true in the morning and the evening, even though we have different versions of the prayer, through giving us Torah, right? For giving us a path in life. And then we have Shema, and then the continuation of Shema is Be'ahavta, which talks about how we love God. And how do we love God is by following a holy path, right? God lays out a holy path for us, and then when we follow it, that's how we show our love. So Shema is sort of the one line part of Shema is sort of surrounded by I don't know, this love sandwich of God showing love for us, we show love for God, and in the middle we have a proclamation of faith, and perhaps just as important, a proclamation of identity, right? Shema is probably more than almost any other words connected with being a Jew, right? Even though they're not only Jewish words, right? Because other traditions embrace the Hebrew Bible as part of their traditions as well. But it is, Hear, O Israel, right? Listen, folk, right? We're in this together. So we're going to continue now with Shema. I'm going to invite you to rise, as is our custom here at TBI. And then we'll continue with Ve'ahavta as we think about what are the ways that we show our appreciation for our tradition, for our connection to the holy, and for the path that we've been given. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. You may be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shochpecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtaftam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem meretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. Michamocha, our song of freedom, page 40. Michamocha Ba'elim Adonai Michamocha Nedar Bakodesh Nora Tehilot Osei Felet. Again, Michamocha Ba'elim Adonai Michamocha נדר בקודש, נורא תהילו, עושה פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי אנו, ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. נורא תהילות עושה פלא. נורא תהילות עושה פלא. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. Hashkivenu, page 42, as we ask the Holy One to shelter that Sukkot Shalom over us, that shelter of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ושמור צאתנו ובואנו. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ושמור צאתנו ובואנו. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. I feel so grateful every week when it comes to Shabbat, just to have a time to connect and be together. And, it feels different at different times. I remember during the pandemic just how good it felt to connect with other people, even online, right, on the computer. And then how special it was to be able to be back in 3 dimensions with people on Shabbat. I'm still grateful for those of you who are online, but it is something special to be together in person along the way. And So when I come to Vishamru each week in our Siddur, which just says the people of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, observing it as a sign for all times, for in 6 days. It's a sign between me meaning God, not me meaning me, but yeah, it's written in God's first person, and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day God ceased from work and was refreshed. So we have this opportunity to be refreshed, whatever your Shabbat looks like, right? But it is a time to reconnect and to refresh and to the word vayinafash is connected to the word for nefesh. I think of it as a Shavat vayinafash. It's a time to be resouled, right? It's a time perhaps to be breathed, to let God breathe into us, the universe breathe into us, new life and new possibility. Vishamru 44. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam Beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam Beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam Veshameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam Beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam Beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash. Before we enter into our Amidah, I'm going to ask Dr. Randy Polvoy to talk a little bit about the music that he's going to share with us today.
Shabbat Shalom. Actually, the song I've chosen is sort of a strange coincidence how what I pick sometimes dovetails with what the rabbi is talking about. So dealing with this gift of Shabbat that God has given us, it's a wonderful gift. The song I'm going to be playing today is Shabbat HaMalcha, which means Queen Sabbath, Sabbath Queen. Composer, again, is Natalie Young. I've done this piece on several occasions because I like it. And it is from her very recent album from 2019, Soul Spark, again, dealing with nefesh, soul, so very much in keeping with what the rabbi was explaining about the the gift of Shabbat. So we'll be doing that momentarily. Shabbat Shalom.
We turn to page 46. I invite you to rise if you're comfortably able to do so. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 48. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei hakol, v'zocher chastei avot v'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo b'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah. Page 50. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Michamocha baal gevurot umido melach. Melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol. Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please continue silently with the text of your heart or the words of the prayer book through page 62-63. You may be seated when you're through. So Cantor Young and her husband David and their kids just moved from Orange County to Chicago. This is her first week at her new pulpit in Chicago. And so wish Cantor Young and her family hatzlacha, luck and success in their new place. For many years, she would have been leaving for camp. They would have been leaving for camp because we spent the same 2 weeks at Camp Newman for many years together. And so that's a little bit more about Cantor Young and her family. So this week's Torah reading is called Pinchas. It's named after Pinchas, who is the son of Eliezer, who's the son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, right? Couple of generations down. And it contains lots and lots of subjects, certainly enough for like at least 5 sermons or so. So bear with me, I'm going to give all 5 of them. We learn that as a reward, in a very troubling passage from my perspective that I'll have to talk about another year. We learn that as a reward for his violent action in last week's reading, Pinchas is granted permanent priesthood for himself and his descendants. And many commentators wrestle with this story and struggle with it, not just us, because it's problematic. We witness a census of the Israelite people, the first one in 40 years. Right? There was a census when they left Egypt, and now it's time for another one to see if there are enough fighters to enter the land. Right? What do we got before we go in? We better take another census. We will see the aging Moses designate Joshua as his successor. Another really important thing. We could actually probably get a number of sermons just out of that, talking about the passing of the mantle of leadership in that way. And we will read the description of the offerings, the daily and the seasonal, a section that is often read on different occasions of the Jewish calendar. And between these contrasting stories, we see this story, this narrative about the daughters of Zelophehad, and they present their case to Moshe, to Moses. So they come forward, the daughters of Zelophehad, and they stand before Moses and they say, "Our father died in the desert, and he has no sons, giving us holding among our father's kinsmen," right? So, right, each family, each tribe had a piece of land, each family had a piece of land within that tribe, and only sons could inherit the land. And here he has only daughters, and the fathers died, and they come before Moses and they say, "Hey, we want to inherit the land." And Moses brought their case before the Eternal, who ruled, "The plea of the daughters of Zelophehad is just. Transfer their father's share to them." Right? We don't usually have God so explicitly in our text, like giving a ruling, a case ruling, like they've come before me, I rule in their favor, right? But that's what happens in this portion. And the 5 sisters are included among the Bible's most significant women, right? At a time when women were excluded from the power structure, when sons were given precedence over daughters, they advocated for what in their time was revolutionary change. If a man dies without sons, his estate should not pass to other male relatives, but to his daughters. Moses, faced with this difficult issue, turned it over to God, who not only ruled in their favor, but decreed it, as I just said, directly. And Zelophehad's daughters demanded, in a sense, a paradigm shift here, a shift that God deemed was just. And thus the Torah specified that in the absence of a son, a daughter was next in line, not the father of the deceased and not his brothers. Today, of course, women can and do inherit property, at least in most places. There are still places that isn't true. But the ruling in favor of the 5 sisters was in its day a profound shift that was codified in the Torah and then affirmed in the Talmud. And it took another paradigm shift, however, to grant parity to daughters and enable them to share equally with their brothers. One of the Talmudic sages, Rav Papa, raised this question all the way back. Rav Papa lived in basically the 300s. So a long time ago, Rav Papa said, well, wait, shouldn't they just get equal share to any brother? Even if they have brothers, maybe the sisters should just get equal share. And at that time, his contemporaries in the Talmud kind of dismiss him. They say, nah. He obviously didn't live to witness the change, but his questioning, right, of the practice itself, in his day is a challenge for us to evaluate contemporary practices and custom when they seem to be in conflict with morality. At the turn of the 20th century, women were not eligible to vote, nor could married women own property in their name. They didn't hold public office. Employment opportunities were by and large limited to being teachers, nurses, secretaries, nannies. As the century evolved, women gained the franchise, their employment opportunities increased, were elected to public office, and former male-only strongholds gave way to women. Universities, medicine, law, clergy merely reflect on the ever-increasing number of women who now serve as rabbis in the Reform, Conservative, Reconstructionist movements, and now some liberal Orthodox congregations as well. Yet no one success achieved by the feminist movement was and is viewed as the final step in the struggle for gender equality. There's still so much work to do. There's always another moment waiting to challenge the limits of the new status quo. Even as women press their claims for equal pay, for equal work, and increased opportunities not only to sit around the table but also to sit at its head, so do other folks, groups, minorities challenge status quos that limit them. The African American community has made great strides since the civil rights bills were passed in '64 and '65, but the last few years have reminded us, right, in so many ways, what we should have known and sometimes knew at our best moments all along the way, that structural racism continues to lead to inequitable outcomes in housing and in education and in economic mobility and policing that are the focus of much of today's movements. We have much work to do. The story of Zelophehad's daughters and the subsequent evolution of women's rights teaches that every new status quo is often but a way station in the struggle for the next shift or the next change. Changes in the status often challenge us to think differently, to challenge our assumptions. Yet justice demands that work towards a society of justice, that we work toward a society of justice and equity for all. As Martin Luther King Jr. wrote, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." We build upon the progress of those before us. We work to bend that arc toward justice. This is the logical extension of God's directive to Moses. The plea of the daughters of Zelophehad is just. Transfer their father's share to them. Shabbat Shalom. I buried my service order. Here it is. Okay. We're going to turn now to page 253. Give me one moment to not only get to that page, but to grab that. We turn our thoughts to all of those in our lives and all of those in our community who are in need of healing, healing of body or of mind or of spirit. We turn our healing thoughts toward all of them and ask that God's healing energies be directed to them as well, as we join in our words of Misha Berach, middle of page 253. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. We ask for blessings upon Rebecca Gilman, Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Toback, Rosin Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakoff, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Jennifer Rudin, Brad Holland, Serena Postal, Robert Strober, Marilyn Lubarsky, Joan Morse, Nomi Kravitz, Myra White, Lori Snyder, Charity Razadeh, Mike Klein, Barbara Fast, Joel Beasy, Gloria Foster, Rita Warshaw, Robert Gerard, Adele Harris, Brenda Found Gerard, Ron Friedlander, Jan Marcus, Marla Fregosa, Al Shapiro, Jeff Nelson, Gina Eli, Robert Waldman, Barry Gustafero, Udit Gratz-Delang, Eva Laxon, Alda Mendoza, Mitch Samuelson, Sharna Blitz, Eli Wakefield, Rob Scher, Audrey Kubel, Deborah Delane, James Stead, Rita Elias, Benjamin Jones, Stephen Gilbert, Sharon Zaki, Neil Barone, Karen Rosenthal, Oliver Holland, and Sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Before announcements, this is an unusual Shabbat, perhaps a little bit of a confusing Shabbat, because it is the first Shabbat of the month, but there's no shul band. Thank you, Randy Polovoy, for providing our music today. Cantor Paul is at camp, and I don't conduct the band. Doesn't happen. And we were not so clear, while we didn't say in anything shul band and birthday blessings, we weren't clear that there wouldn't be shul band or birthday blessings. So I don't know if we have any July birthday. I know we have at least one July birthday, a couple of July birthdays. Okay. So if you're a July birthday, come gather in the aisle here. Gather in the aisle, and I could use a couple of people to hold up a birthday canopy. I can't promise that Cantor Paul won't do birthdays again next week. So, come back again. You can get another, because we didn't do any special outreach for birthdays this week. So let's sing happy birthday. Here we go, Randy. Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach. So we wish you a year of blessing, a year of goodness, a year of growth of spirit and connection to community, and a year of learning. And I offer today, but we, meaning the Jewish people, offer you today the blessing of our tradition. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and may God keep you. Ya'er Adonai v'chuneka. May God's light shine into you and through you to others. May God always be compassionate unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God and all that is good be present for you in your life, and may you be granted shalom, wholeness and peace in your heart, in your community, and may we join with others to bring our world closer to shalom, to wholeness, to peace, and we say together, Amen. Let's sing them out, Randy. Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach. Yeah. I'd like to invite Neil Gerard to step from the side of the bima to the center of the bima to offer some announcements.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom again. Shabbat Shalom. On behalf of your Board of Trustees, I'm pleased to bring you greetings of Shabbat. And thank you all for joining us either in person in Sanctuary or online. Thank you tonight to Claudia Gonzalez, who keeps us online and keeps all of our people who are unable to be with us connected, and it does so very well. Thank you to Randy. I too like that piece. You can keep doing that. That's a nice piece. Thank you. And to Rabbi Jonathan, your message tonight was on point and well done. Yasher Koach. We have lots of volunteers. Want to thank them. Appreciate their help and services tonight. Our greeters, our outside greeters were Kylie Sykes and Joan Gerard. Our lobby greeters, Phyllis Blackley, Judy Rose, and Sharon Regalado. Appreciate all of their help. After services tonight, we join in the social hall for Kiddush, Motzi, refreshments, and conversation. If there happens to be someone you don't know, please introduce yourself and say hello and extend our warm and welcoming Jewish community. We have lots of, even in the summertime, we have activities to talk about. I just want to highlight two things tonight, but you can get more information in the weekly Tekiah, which is emailed to members, in the monthly Kahila, or at our website. For members, if you have not yet returned your pledge packet, please do so. The board meets Monday night, and we're going to get a report on where we stand. It obviously has an important budget implication, so if you haven't submitted your pledge package, please do so. And for those of you who always wanted to learn more about the Claremont colleges, our Adult Jewish Learning Committee is sponsoring a walking tour of the Claremont colleges, and that'll be run through the Claremont Heritage Society, and actually led by a friend of ours, John Ferranda, who is excellent. That will be on July 18th at 9:15 in the morning. And you can register in advance, or you can show up that morning. And there is a $10 fee to the Heritage Society. So if you want to learn more about the jewels of the Claremont Colleges, please join us for that. Shabbat Shalom.
I'd like to add one other announcement, which is that next week, which is the 14th of July, is our first Shabbat under the stars. I won't be here, but it'll be lovely anyway, even though I won't be here. So we have 3 times this summer where we have outdoor Shabbats. It's really lovely to be out on the lawn and to share that time together outside. This is the first Shabbat is the one with the most light. You can see through more of the service than the other 2. As we get to the end of August, then it gets dark earlier and it's harder to see, but it's still lovely. So I hope that many of you will put it on your calendar, and for those of you maybe who are at home tonight, maybe next week you'll say, I'm going to come for Shabbat under the stars and be there in person. So do that. And then the last Shabbat under the stars on the 25th of August, we're also going to have a kind of end of summer welcome to the program year barbecue, and we hope that, and there'll be more information about that, but we hope that people will make an effort to join us for that as well. Right, we're going to turn now to page 282, in the middle of the page, for Aleinu L'Shabeach. I invite you to rise if you're comfortably able to do so. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotze breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. Page 294. We take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past, and we hold them in our hearts and in our minds. Those of you at home, as always, feel free to mention people's names in the chat. We remember today I had a funeral for Neil Osina, father of Lisa Harding. We remember Kristen Patra, mother of Petra Mack. Remember Lawson Spicer, husband of Marla Spicer. Remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Herman Epstein, Tilly Frank, Sam Kelber, Jack Richmond, Isidore Thompson, Tilly Toyin, Murray Avedon, Judy Block, Shirley Feldman, Bernard Edward Kimmel, Ted Robinson, Ray C. Schulman, Abraham Cohen, Lillian Dolfman, Colbert Harmon, Joe Mack, Eugene Jean Breen, Pauline Dubowie, Michael Goodman, Zella Greenfield, Abraham Sender Grosswart, Martin Katz, Melvin Schweitzer, Sid Shano, Saul Altman, Claire Gutman, Irving Levine, Marta Silton Friedberg, Elsie Waldman, and Bill Mayer. If you're remembering somebody on this Shabbat and would like to add their name to those that I've stated or restate a name that I've mentioned, please do so as I come by your row. If you're in a time of mourning or observing a yard site on this Shabbat, I invite you to rise. And I invite the rest of the congregation, if it's your custom, to rise and embrace in support of those who mourn. Kaddish is on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomachon uv'chayei dechol b'it Yisrael, b'agalau v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yahei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei dukudusha brichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yahei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. And we'll conclude with Biyado, the last stanza on page 321. Biyado afkiruchi, be'tishan ve'ayira, ve'himruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira, ve'himruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Be'ado afkid ruchi, be'ado afkid ruchi, ve'tishan ve'ayira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira. For those of you who joined us online, thank you for being with us. Shabbat Shalom. For all of you in the sanctuary, please join us in the social hall for Kiddush, Motzi, refreshments. Shabbat Shalom.